Hello, all, greetings. This is Gilles Mancillon. I wanted to send greetings and come to you today to discuss very briefly the minor planets of our solar system. It is essentially, it is about this painting behind me. This is what I'm going to comment on. It's essentially about astrology. For those who do not believe in astrology, they are not affected consciously, but as we tune into those frequencies and those understanding, we may begin to feel more about the influence of those celestial bodies. When we came into this incarnation, we came in a special time, a special place, so that we get imprinted by those celestial bodies with those celestial energies, which created a filter of perceptions that we carry on throughout our whole life. And in a sense, we need to transcend each and every aspect. Everything has two sides, positive and negative, understanding. So we have to transcend every negative aspect of all 12 signs and assume all the positive aspect of all 12 constellations. So no matter what sign we are connected to the whole picture. There are thousands and hundreds of thousands of planets within our solar systems. Many of them have been identified, some have not. There are also invisible planets that we will come to discover later. For now, most astrologers will work with 10 major celestial bodies. Some of them are starting to include 5 or 6 or 7 more asteroids. But there are many that have subtle influences. And so when a planet has turned around the whole around the sun and returned to the place where it was when you were born, that's when it has the most influences. It's called a return. And so those planets have all mythological history. In a sense, they were given mythology names that were related to mythology. And so some of those mythological history may inform us on what kind of influence those planets may give to us in relationship to their position and what their story was. So I'm not going to comment on the definitive astrological influence, but mostly I'm just going to briefly comment on the main mythological history of those planets. And so this painting represents my natal chart. I'm going to see if I can get the whole painting in. So it represents my own astrological chart. I have my sun in Pisces and ascendant in Pisces, so I will start with that. It's my first house. I put the Earth in the center. Rather, I could have put my face, but I thought putting the Earth was more universal in a way. Although this is very specific to me, those planets were in those positions when I was born. And in the next, this is the second of the series, and I've started a third painting, which will include 50 more planets and asteroids. But those were already established symbols for them. When the new ones have the ones that I'm integrating now, I have to create the symbol because they do not exist just yet, and so it takes a little bit of time to develop all those symbols as well as the painting itself. So I'm just going to briefly go over that. Sorry. So I'm going to start with Pisces. The sun is Helios, is the guardian of the collective soul. It is the most powerful influence in the solar system. Is 99% of the matter of our solar system is made of the sun, and the 1% left, 90% of that is made of the 4 big planets, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. That being said, there is all kinds of little planets that can have very, very powerful influence. So in Pisces, I have the Sun here, which is, and then there is Mercury, which is Hermes, is the messenger of the god. It's Mercury is always one sign above in our natal chart, or in the same sign, or one sign below. It's always very close to the Sun. So in a non-enlightened state, it rules the mental body, but in an enlightened state, it filters the energies of the Sun, so we can understand the change and shift of the energies. Right now, it is retrograde, so it is time for rewind, review, readdress certain things. And so in Pisces I also have Pandora, the planet Pandora. Pandora was the first woman, the insatiable woman that was created by the gods. She married Epimete. Eventually she was the woman that was created by the gods to become the woman that could never be satisfied, and so men would have to work and toil to satisfy that woman that could never be satisfied. She was also there was also the story of the box of Pandora. But that's so I don't want to get too much into all those stories in details, because there's too many of them. Essentially, it is Pandora means she who is given all and who is loved by all. Cassandra was a beautiful woman who was Apollon was in love with her, and he gave her to seduce her. He gave her the gift of seeing the future, but then she refused. When it comes to consuming their union, she turned him down, and so he kind of left her the gift. But no matter what she said, nobody ever believed her. And so when Cassandra says something, we should listen to her, even if it doesn't make sense. It is important to listen to this planet. When the universe says no, you should probably listen to the universe in many sense. Right next to it we have Metis. Metis is a faraway satellite of Jupiter that I have below here. It is the planet of wisdom. It's the second wife of the great Zeus. It is also the mother of Athena. And so Metatron was saying that Metis was his soul twin, his counterpart. So it is the planet of wisdom, great wisdom. Above I have Ibris. Ibris is the planet of excess. All those things we do not need is all that is in excess. Next to it is Urania. It is the muse of astronomy. Above is Mars, the planet Mars, which is the planet of war. Every solar system where there is life, where life has been organized, there is a planet of war and a planet of love. Here I have Venus in Aries, which is Aphrodite. And so Mars is also the planet of will. It is a planet of sexuality. It's a powerful drive. Next I have Orphea. Orphea was the greatest musician in all of Greece. He was able to hypnotize Cerber, the dog with 3 heads that was keeping hell, in order to go rescue his wife. And so but he remains in history as the greatest musician who's ever been, as mortal men are concerned, or mortal civilization. Then there is Chiron. It's the most important planet in my own chart. It was a near conjunction with my sun when I was born. My master guide lives on Chiron, and my soul resides there. So it is the frequency and the energy I'm looking to harmonize with. Chiron was, in the mythology, was the only centaur that was immortal, but was wounded in a battle. So eventually he gave up his immortality in order to give his immortality to Pele, the wife of Thetis, to let go of that wound that would never heal. Yes, yet he knew that by being wounded, he remained sensitive to the wounds of others and was able to heal them. He was also the initiator of all the great heroes of Greece. Is also represented as a Sagittarius in the constellation of Sagittarius. Is Chiron. After that, in Aries, I have the planet Venus, the planet of love, the planet of beauty. Next to that planet, I have Isis, which is also another beautiful goddess of light and wisdom. Next to that, I have Anomia, which is divine order, the divine order, as opposed to the moon of Aries, which is Dysnomia, the divine disorder. So those are very powerful planets. When those are coming to the picture, they align everything else. Ophelia was is the queen of the fairies. It represents all the magic kingdoms. Right next to it is Minerva. Minerva is none other than the great goddess Athena with the blonde hair. Then comes Eros. Eros has many different. Is a big planet actually. It is the planet that we that is the one that calls on when we fall in love. It is the planet that shoots the arrows through the heart. Essentially, it is a deity that was originally always been there when the creation of the world from the Greek perspective. Yet, when it comes to Plato, was explaining that human Eros was born from Protos and Pene, which is the abundance and the lack. So it created a very bizarre child that's called Eros that walks around, that sleeps on the streets and has no home in some ways. And find that in the buffet of Plato. Socrates explained that story, which is quite wonderful. Then there is Atropos above. It's one of the three moires. Is the three goddess that saw the destiny, that saw the destiny. Then there is this other one that pulls the strings of destiny, and then there is the third one that cuts it out when it's the time to end that mortal career. Then there is the Sphinx below. It's not the Egyptian Sphinx, it is a Greek Sphinx that is questioning. It's the one that puts on the test and question everything so that we can pass on through the gates. Then Industria, I don't really know that planet very well, but when it's time, I'm sure it will come to me. And there is I have in Aries, I have Jupiter, the great planet Jupiter, with 63 moons. It is none other than the great Zeus, the most powerful of all planets, and it is the planet of miracle. Above all karma, there is this potential for great miracles. We'll later find out that this planet is inhabited by a matriarchal society. It's quite advanced. Below we have Saturn, which is a more darker planet. Saturn in mythology was the son of Helios. He was the son of the sun, and what he did was he wanted to pull out bring the fire of the sun everywhere with him. So everywhere he went, he was burning everything along. So eventually he get punished for that. Then there is a planet named Interamnia, which means inter means between in Latin, and amnia means a pool in Greek. So it means it's a transition that between the Greek culture to the Latin culture, but it's also the planet that transits from one state to another. So it is a very important planet. Cupido is a trans-Neptunian planet that I have here retrograde. That is essentially an associate of Aphrodite, of Venus. Sedna is a great divinity from the ocean. Here we have the constellation of Taurus. I didn't show, but here is the constellation of Pisces. Here we have Admetos. Admetos, where is this? Admetos he was a great healer. He was even able to bring people that were dead back into life. So very, very powerful healer. Here we have the little trans-Neptunian planet that's called Chaos. It's the origin of all things. Everything moves from chaos into cosmos, from disorder into order, but there needs to be a primal, it's kind of a non-personal entity that is primal to all things. Then below we have the goddess Eris. She's got a moon named Dysnomia. She's the goddess of discord. She's the goddess of chaos. She's the one who brought the apple of discord that created the war of Troy. And so the goddess Eris in Eris. I have Eris in Eris. Then we have in Taurus. I have Ornamenta here. This Ornamenta is one of the most beautiful planets. You can spend you can contemplate once you can open your third eye and look at it. You'll see how beautiful it is, and it's very difficult to take your eyes away. It's almost hypnotical. Then Diane is none other than Artemis, the goddess of hunting, and she was very connected to the forest and the nature kingdom. Proserpina her name was Kore, and then she was kidnapped by Hades, the lord of the underworld, Pluto, the lord of hell, to become his wife. Then she was called Persephone, Proserpina in Latin, Persephone in Greek. Lachesis is another of the three moires, but that works with our destiny. Nemesis was also a woman that was seduced by Zeus, so we had a long story there, but can get into it right now. Fortuna is the planet that brings fortune into our life, so a very important planet. It is here next to Igea. Igea is a planet of hygiene. It's the prevention of illness. It's something that how we can prevent illness before it happens. Then next there is Arachne, the planet of the spiders. Then we have Tantalus. The Tantalus was this madman who tried to cook his son and then tried to feed it to the gods. Then he was sent to hell. Of course, the gods are never fooled to those mortal trickeries, and so he was sent into the hell, and everything. He was completely thirsty and angry all the time, but he could never get close to touching any food or water. It was so it's a supplice. He was sent to be eternally starving and thirsting. Here we have of course some of those stories may be brutal, but they're all symbolic of many things, and I always love mythology for that. There is all kinds of understanding. Symbolism is very, very important, for they are most of what we know about the higher world has to be brought through symbols, because that's the only way to do so. Here we have the constellation of Taurus, and here we have Hades, which is a trans-Neptunian planet which is connected to Pluto. Then we go into Gemini. In Gemini you have Circe, which is Circe. She knew all the poisons and how she's like a witch. She was the one who transformed all of the crew of Ulysses into pigs at some point, and so she's the one who she used like dark magic, so to speak. Then Requiem is pose. It's the ability to pose. So it is very important. It only means pose. Requiem. Eurydice was the wife of Orpheus. She was the one that was rescued from hell by Orpheus. Niobe also was a beautiful woman that was she had 12 children, and she kept saying that her children was more beautiful than the ones that of Leto, which was the mother of Artemis and Apollon, and so eventually Artemis and Apollon got sent to kill all her children except one, and Niobe became so sad. She cried, and then the gods transformed her into a fountain. Then there is the constellation of Gemini here, which is Castor and Pollux. Nessus was a centaur that wasn't quite. He's got a turbulent history. He had a few affairs with Ulysses, and then at some point he was killed eventually by Ulysses when he tried to when he raped his wife. So I'm not really sure how all those things became. How do they impact us in astrology? I can't really say exactly, except when it's from personal experience, and I haven't really made contact with all of those, but I know it's all coming, and I know everything is important in life. Then below is Kronos, which is it's a trans-Neptunian planet that's connected to Saturn, which is the father time, the father of the one that separated the earth and the sky and created time. Then in Gemini, I have a few planets. One of them is named Pythia. Pythia is the oracle of Apollon. She's the one who can predict the future. There was still a tradition of keeping those transmedium at the oracle of Delphi for quite a while. Even at the time of Plato, they were still there, but now it's gone. The temple is closed, but I wish to reopen it and bring back the Pythia, so we could have that oracle, so that when we need to know something about the future, we can turn to that source and know exactly. I know I'm going to need her, so I'm going to bring her back. I don't know if I'll have to go to Greece for that, or if I'm going to find her somewhere else, but time will tell. Here we have the constellation of Cancer, and on the bottom is Vulcanus, who's Vulcanus, who's actually Hephaestus, the god of the forge, the ones that here it's retrograde, it's a trans-Neptunian planet, but it is the one who created all the magic tools of the gods, so it is a very powerful influence. Here I have my North Node, the direction of my life in Cancer. This is where I'm going. Then in Leo, there is Hecate next to the constellation of Leo here. Hecate was a pretty peaceful goddess, a moon goddess, and then she became very turbulent with time. And there is Mekmek. It's a small planet that have retrogrades. That it's the god of Easter Island. Then there is Kwewa. It's got a moon named Wewat. Those are also deities from I think Nordic countries. Ixion was also one of the supplice. He was a man that did some bad things, but he was forgiven by Zeus, and then Zeus invited him to eat at the Olymp. He forgave him and invited him, but instead of being grateful to Zeus, he tried to seduce his wife Hera. So Zeus didn't really like that very much, and so he ended up in the Tartar, in the hell. It was kind of on a wheel. Then in Virgo, I have this planet named Sappho. Sappho is a double Venus. It rules homosexuality. Here it's retrograde. This stress was in tradition. She left a lot of poetry. I don't know if any survived, but it had survived during the time of the golden age of Greece. Of the golden age, I mean the time of Plato, the later civilization. And but the story goes that there was a story that says that eventually she killed herself for a man, although she was a priestess of Lesbos. Apollo is it's connected to Apollon, but it's here it's retrograde, and I also have Apollon here, which is the god of light, the god of the arts. It's one of the most powerful. It's a very powerful influence in my life as well. A very beautiful, incredible guide. And next here is Davida. It's a planet that's fast-moving planet. I'm not really sure how it works in astrology yet. Uranus is the farther sky, the future. I have here retrograde in Virgo, and it's almost conjuncting with Pluto, the lord of the underworld. And Pluto holds the first chakra. It's the bottom chakra. It's the root, the material. When Uranus rules the crown chakra, the highest chakra, and so then above that I have Omea that has two moons, Namaka and Namaka. It's retrograde here, but it's those are deities connected to the islands of Hawaii. And then there is the great Zeus, is the trans-Neptunian planet. That's I have Zeus here retrograde, it's connected to the system of Jupiter. Then we move into Libra. There I have the planet Amor, which is a heart separated in two. So there is many mythology in relationship to Amor, but mostly in Roman mythology. But in a sense, most of them are connected to Eros. Then there is Atlantis. I have retrograde here in Balance, which is about the old continent and civilization of Atlantis. Hidalgo was a centaur as well. Cloto is one of the third more. Sisyphus was also one of those who tried to fool the gods and eventually get punished. His supplice was to push a huge rock on top of a hill. As soon as the rock would reach the top of the hill, he would fall down to the bottom. He would have to start all over again, and that eternally. Then I put M87. It is a huge cluster of galaxies that were connected. It's a part of our future. It's connected to the Virgo cluster, but here it's a little bit at the time of my birth. It was somewhat moving towards the Libra constellation, which is Themis, the justice. Then we have Poseidon above, which is none other than Neptune. I have a retrograde here. It is the god of water, but it's also the Neptune here. I'm moving into Scorpio. That I have a retrograde. Neptune is the planet of the dream, and a very deep spiritual planet, very beautiful planet to visit if you have a chance. Then there is the constellation of Scorpio. Siva was a planet that helped me recently, but I'm not really sure exactly what. I thought it was connected to the Lord Shiva, but I'm not really sure, so I'm keeping it open. Here we have Iris, which is not the same as Eris. She's Iris with a light feet. She's also the counterpart of Hermes. She's one of the messengers of Zeus. She would bring back messages back and forth from the Olymp into the earth. And here in Scorpio I have my moon, so it's a very strange place to have a moon and Neptune in conjunction, but it is the way it is, and so I have to deal with that moon in Scorpio. Then in Sagittarius I have, it's the top of my chart, there is the Great Attractor and the Galactic Center. The Great Attractor is a force in the universe that pulls everything, that gives the direction of the universe, and the Galactic Center represents the center of a galaxy. Bamberga was an astronomer, and that's got this planet. Euphrosyne means ecstasy, bliss. So it is a very important planet to connect to. It is very, very pure, very light, very expansive. Then Terpsichore is the muse of dance, actually. Next, I only have 2 of the muses. I'm probably going to incorporate more of them. I want to eventually get the 9 muses into my paintings in the next future next series. Hebe is the beautiful goddess. She's the one who creates the nectar, who makes the nectar, and the ambroisie, which is what the gods eat and drink, so that they can remain immortals. Eventually, when we connect to that, we'll find the secrets of immortality. How to crystallize our physical body, which will happen naturally. We do not need to be fully conscious of those things for those things to happen. Then there is 3 major planets and asteroids: Ceres, Pallas, and Juno. Ceres is there's the word cereal come from. She's none other than Demeter. She's the planet of harvest, the planet of nature, that which makes things grow. Pallas is the name for Athena, because Pallas is a beautiful goddess that was really close friend with Athena, and when they were young, they were fighting one day to practice. They were practicing swordsmanship, and Zeus interfered in their practices, and by accident Athena killed Pallas, and so she was so sad. She said, "I will always be." She will always use the name Pallas before her own. So whenever you would call on Athena, you would call her Pallas Athena, and so. It's like 2 goddesses for the price of 1, so to speak. They're both beautiful goddesses, even if Athena may be more powerful in terms of influence, both astrologically and mythologically. Then Juno is none other than Hera, the wife of Zeus. It's the planet of home and family, and so those are very, very important planets in Sagittarius. Then in Capricorn, I have Victoria, which is the planet of victory. It's a Roman goddess, and there is Child, which is a planet of the inner child. Psyche and Shiva, not really sure, but they're somewhat powerful planets as well. I haven't really made contact with them yet. Tethys is a planet I've been working with, and also a goddess I've been working with. Not to be mistaken with Tethys with a wife, or Tethys with a wife is our grandmother. She's the wife of Ocean, one of the primary goddesses. Tethys was the wife of Pele and the mother of Achille. And it was at her wedding that the whole war of Troy happened. Then above that there is Bacchus, which is Dionysos, the god of wine, the god of madness, the god of theater. Then there is Flora, the planet of the flowers. Then there is Taureau. Taureau is a very powerful energy, but it's also very chaotic. It is represent the Minotaur. And above there is Lilith, which is a Hebraic goddess that has some kind of dark side as well. It can be a bit chaotic. House is the home. It is a place to dwell. It is related to that. Asclepius is the goddess of medicine. It is the one that can heal, and she's the healer. Cybele is a Roman goddess that's very close connected to Hera. Salacia is an ocean goddess. Then there is the South Node up there with the constellation of Capricorn. Orcus has a moon named Vance. They are underworld dark archetypes. And then in Capricorn, in Aquarius, I have Icarus. Icarus was the one that was a mortal that was trapped in a big labyrinth with the Minotaur, and in order to escape, his father created some wings for him, but he tried to fly too close to the sun and his wing burned. Then Panacea is the goddess the great benefactor that brings the knowledge on how to heal with the plants. She knows all about the plants. She knows all about how to heal with plants. Europa was the daughter of a river, I think. She was a beautiful nymph, and she attracted the attention of Zeus. In order to seduce her, he turned himself into a white bull with golden horn, and as soon as she climbed on her back, he kidnapped her, and so her father wasn't really happy about that, but he left. There was a lot of prosperity that was connected to that union. And the Taurus, the constellation of Taurus, is the symbol of that white bull that Zeus turned himself into. Vesta is none other than Esta, the goddess of purity, and Aestrea as well, very, very pure, very divine, very, very pure energy. Opi is a planet that is connected to the great spirit of the American Indians. Saturn is the great Kronos, is the lord of time, the lord of karma, and there is a constellation of. And then Pholus was a good friend of Chiron. He was a centaur, and so those are just a few of the planets. I hope you find this interesting. I hope you did find this interesting. I'm sorry. I'm working on this third generation of painting in that way. I think it is teaching me a lot about myself, because understanding your own astrological chart will clarify why you're responding in a certain way, in a certain form, to certain situation. The more we understand our chart, the more we understand the filters of perception we have chosen for this incarnation. And so that being said, astrology is meant to be transcended, and so but it is very useful. Right now we're moving into this month of August, where there's a very, very powerful alignments of planets, and that should create great big changes inside and outside. I know I'm very close to my own alignment, the alignment I'm looking for. And the card of the day, if I'm going to do a little oracle, is Surrender. Surrender is about letting go of all things. Once you let go of everything, then whatever's left is really what's necessary, what's needed, what's there. But there is all kinds of excess baggage that we carry, so it is good to let go, to surrender all that. Well, I hope this was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.